Hello and welcome to your weekly horoscope forecast for week commencing the 2nd of May. As this week begins, Venus, the planet of grace, of charm, of aesthetics, of fashion, but also of relating and of course of money, moves into the first zodiac sign of Aries. If you have been going through some soul searching around a relationship issue recently, this could bring you more into the present, especially if there has been, unfortunately, a separation in your situation. But Venus also moves into an immediate, sparkling alliance with Mercury in one of its two home zones of Gemini. Now this can lead to some flirtatious text winging around. It could also bring a greater sense of enthusiasm to the social scene. Of course, the Sun does continue alongside Uranus in Taurus, which is very much to do with our resources. But Uranus is asking us through the Sun to be as open-minded as possible, to not hold on to things that no longer serve our greater purpose. And in some ways that might be some of the things we've taken for granted a little bit because the cost of living has gone up so much. We might find actually that some of the things we thought were so essential we can let go, and because the two of them are forging such a very powerful and energizing link to the planet of drive, Mars, we can dig deep from within ourselves to find ways in which we can reorder things. Some of that sparkle that Venus and Mercury are going to bring, despite the fact that Venus is technically in its detriment in Aries, could be enjoying the interaction, the personal interaction, and that doesn't really cost anything at all. Now also, there is by Sunday a quarter moon in the sign of Leo. This sees the Sun in the 2nd, the Moon in the 5th, which just cautions us not to be too free and easy with our resources. But also, if there is somebody that we're rather fond of, perhaps they've become rather too used to us indulging them. And this could be a good moment to actually just reinforce our boundaries somewhat. But Jupiter, the planet of fortune, is forging a very powerful alliance to Pluto, the planet of transformation, that goes on all through this week. People who have this in their natal horoscopes are often very lucky and often make quite good progress in life in a material context. But of course, Jupiter in the sign of Pisces can be more of a spiritual dimension, but something can change or evolve in a way which pleases us through that particular influence. Also, Saturn in Aquarius is forging a semi-sextile to Neptune. Some of the things that we might think are very important to our structure of our lives, we might be able to let go of some of those with Neptune's help. But of course Neptune can erode structures in a less positive way, but I don't think that will be the case. I think again we can realise that some of the things that we think or thought were so important are not quite as important as they actually seem to be in the past. Now, if you would like to ascend above this Zodiac broadcast, if you give me 3 pieces of personal information, I can give you a roadmap that can guide the rest of your life. A natal analysis is so incredibly insightful, but also with this, with my special offer, you can also get a 12-month forecast, and the two working together, and I give you 30% off, can really be so very meaningful in terms of tapping your potential, avoiding pitfalls, and making the right moves at the right time. Please see the link below this video for more. Finally, if you are new to my channel, before I give you your Zodiac forecast, if you would be so good to subscribe, I'd be really grateful. I'm racing towards 100,000 subs. It's taken a bit longer than it should have done because of all my health issues, but your support is greatly appreciated. Hello Libra, and welcome to your weekly horoscope for week commencing the 2nd of May. Venus, your lovely ruler, moves into your 7th house as this week begins. This is a very important moment of the year because the 7th house is very much in keeping with the energies that Venus gives you, that skill as a relator. Now, of course, the sign of Aries is opposite yours, and Venus technically is not at its best here. But I think that this can help you to use your natural powers of listening, of interacting with people in a way which harmonizes things. You can use those to great effect over the next 28 days. Also, Venus forges a really nice link this week with Mercury, the planet of communication, which is in the 9th house of your situation, to do with higher values, can be to do with education and travel. If you're lucky enough to be going away with someone that you get on well with this week, it could be really delightful. The Sun, however, of course, is in a conjunction with Uranus in the 8th house, which is potentially a little bit more challenging, because the 8th house can be where things that we have been quite invested in, with Uranus in attendance, are disrupted. The 8th house can also be a time of ends as much as beginnings. So something that in the past may have held sway may be revolutionized at this time. With Mars in your sector of service, the 6th house, your physical energy is high. It's feeding into this desire to come up against some kind of challenge, to test yourself out, or even push your opponents back a little bit with your guile. But all the time Venus can help you to do this with a degree of sophistication and charm. Now, Jupiter, the planet of fortune, is actually in a very positive link with Pluto, which has been causing all those changes since 2008. Maybe something that has proved to be quite difficult could now start to unravel in a way which is more beneficial to you. Perhaps you've come to terms that things will never quite be the same, and now you're just needing to go through the process of letting go, and that could feel as if all the dust is up in the air and things haven't quite settled. But generally the change could actually be very productive for you. The quarter moon, which occurs on Sunday, is in the sign of Leo, which is your sector of sociability, friendship and long-term planning. So I think if there is around your friendship circle, for example, any kind of cliques or possessiveness or jealousy, petty politics, that's something that could be a bit of a turn off for you, or even more of a turn off for you from the end of this week. But that influence will run on for the whole of week commencing the 9th as well.